Hello friends, today we are going to discuss what do you want to know about food poisoning. There is a very well-known saying by Anne Wigmore, the food you eat is either the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. It shows that it all depends upon your taking of food. I am Dr. Jagajit Singh Virk, MBBS, FCGP, FAM, SPG, DGM. What is food poisoning? Food poisoning, also called food-borne illness, is illness caused by eating contaminated food. Infectious organisms, including bacteria, viruses, and parasites, or their toxins, are the most common causes of food poisoning. How fast does it hit you? Symptoms begin 6 to 24 hours after exposure. Diarrhea and stomach cramps usually begins suddenly and lasts for less than 24 hours. Vomiting and fever are not very common. How long does food poisoning last? Most cases of food poisoning will take 1 to 5 days to fully recover from. Young children, elderly pregnant women, and those with underlying medical or immune system conditions are at increased risk of developing severe illness from food poisoning. How do you know if you have food poisoning? There are certain symptoms of food poisoning which include feeling sick, you feel nauseated, there is diarrhea, you feel being sick with feeling of vomiting, there is stomach cramps, maybe higher temperature of 38 degrees centigrade or above, feeling generally unwell, such as feeling tired or having aches and chills. There may be blood in stools in long standing. What is the best way to deal with food poisoning? Rest as much as possible. Eat when you feel up to it. Sticking to small, light, and non-fatty meals at first. Bland foods such as toast, crackers, rice, and bananas are good choices. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, fizzy drinks, and spicy and fatty foods because they may make you feel worse. What is the difference between stomach flu and food poisoning? The biggest difference between the two illnesses is in the timing. For example, if you develop symptoms within a few hours of eating, it's likely to be food poisoning. On the other hand, stomach flu symptoms typically appear within a day or two after exposure to the virus. Do you always vomit when you have it? When you have food poisoning, the first thing you want is relief. Your symptoms depend on what caused you to get sick, but you usually have diarrhea, throwing up, and an upset stomach at the least. What gets rid of nausea fast? When trying to control nausea, drink clear or ice cold drinks, eat light, bland foods such as saltine, crackers, or plain bread. Avoid fried, greasy, or sweet foods. Eat slowly and eat smaller, more frequent meals. Do not mix hot and cold foods. Drink beverages slowly. Avoid activity after eating. What can you eat after food poisoning? The most recommended foods to eat after the stomach flu, food poisoning, or a regular stomach ache are part of what's known as the BRAT diet. BRAT stands for bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. These particular foods are ideal because of their blandness and because they are easy to digest. When to go to hospital? You should seek medical treatment if you suspect salmonella poisoning. For food poisoning that lasts between 18 to 36 hours and is accompanied by doubled or blurred vision, drooping eyelids, or slurred speech, you should seek emergency medical attention as soon as possible. You should immediately seek food poisoning treatment in the ER if you begin to notice blood in your urine, feces, or vomit, diarrhea lasting more than 3 days, or signs of severe dehydration, including extreme thirst, loss of consciousness, or confusion. How long does it take to recover? Most people who experience food poisoning don't require a trip to the hospital, but you won't want to venture too far from the bathroom either. Upset stomach, vomiting, and diarrhea are the most common symptoms. They typically subside after 48 hours. What does your stomach feel like when you have food poisoning? Cramps in your stomach and gut, diarrhea, and vomiting may start as early as 1 hour after eating tainted food and as late as 10 days or longer. It depends on what is causing the infection. Some other possible common symptoms of a variety of food poisonings might include bloating and gas. What foods cause food poisoning? Foods that can cause food poisoning are chicken, beef, pork, and turkey. Undercooking and cross-contamination are the two biggest risks posed by meats. Fruits and vegetables, raw milk and cheese products, eggs, seafood and raw shellfish, sprouts, and raw flour. Can food poisoning be fatal? Food poisoning causes anything from mild to severe acute discomfort and may leave you temporarily dehydrated. Mild cases may last only a few hours or days, but more serious types, such as botulism or certain forms of chemical or toxin poisoning, are severe and possibly life-threatening unless you get medical treatment. What to drink after throwing up? Do not eat or drink anything for several hours after vomiting. Sip small amounts of water or suck ice chips every 15 minutes for 3 to 4 hours. Next, sip clear liquids every 15 minutes for 3 to 4 hours. Examples include water, sports drinks, flat soda, clear broth, gelatin flavored ice, popsicles, or apple juice. Why do we feel better after throwing up? First, most of the time your brain will give you that sick feeling to warn you that something is going to happen. Second, just before throwing up, your body produces extra saliva, which helps protect your teeth from the strong acid of the stomach. Third, the vomiting process releases chemicals in your body to make you feel better. What is yellow in the vomitus? Green or yellow vomit, also known as bile, is produced by the liver and stored in the gallbladder. The release of bile occurs when an individual is vomiting on an empty stomach or is suffering from bile reflux. This is all about food poisoning. Thank you very much.